迎各位今日嚟到。
Welcome to the Chief Executive's 2023 Policy Address on I&T initiatives. On stage with Professor Sun Dong, Secretary for Innovation, Technology and Industry, Mr. Eddie Mack, PSITI, Mr. Lillian Zhang, Undersecretary ITI, Mr. Tony Wong, GCIO, Mr. Ivan Lee, Commissioner for INT, as well as Ms. Patricia So from the Efficiency Unit. I give the floor to Professor Sun for some opening remarks first. Friends from the media, fellow citizens, good afternoon. I'd like to brief you on the key initiatives relating to my bureau in the Chief Executive's 2023 Policy Address, and that is about innovation and technology and industry. And then my team will be happy to take questions from members. The country attaches high importance and gives strong support to the development of innovation technology in Hong Kong. This year's policy address closely followed the 14th five-year plan, which gave clear support to the development of Hong Kong into an international I&T center, and is also related to the four broad development directions and 8 major strategies set out in the Hong Kong I&T development blueprint. There are several major policy areas to implement the blueprint to foster high-quality development of I&T in Hong Kong. The first is to advance development of digital government. Second, to press ahead with new industrialization. Third, to promote research and development and transformation of outcomes. Fourth, to foster artificial intelligence or AI development. Fifth, to promote cross-boundary data flow. Sixth, to foster the synergistic development of the Hong Kong Park and Shenzhen Park of Hetao. And the seventh is new lands supply for innovation technology, I&T use. First, on advancing development of digital government. Now, we are going to set up the Digital Policy Office to be led by the Commissioner for Digital Policy, to be responsible for formulating policies on digital government, data governance, and information technology, and promoting the opening up of data and offering more government digital services. Within this year, we're going to publish the administrative guidelines to facilitate data flow and ensure data security before the end of this year. Besides, the Digital Economy Development Committee will put forward its recommendations on digital infrastructure, cross-boundary data flow, data transformation of enterprises, and human resources support early next year. To allow everyone in Hong Kong to experience the convenience and sense of gain brought about by digital government, starting from next year, within 2 years, we will launch over 100 of digital government and smart city initiatives. Within a year, we will accept electronic payment for all government services. We are also discussing with the Guangdong province to promote the cross-boundary public services initiatives in Hong Kong and Guangzhou so that the public can use cross-boundary government services online. Second, to press ahead with new industrialization. We will set up the New Industrialization Development Office to be led by the Commissioner for Industry, I&T, and will adopt an industry-oriented approach to support strategic enterprises to develop their business in Hong Kong, assist the manufacturing sector and transformation by making use of I&T and promote support for startups. We will also set up a $10 billion new industrialization acceleration scheme to provide funding support for enterprises of specified technology industries, which set up new production facilities in Hong Kong with its investment of no less than $200 million on a 1-to-2 matching basis. And we also explore the feasibility of allowing enterprises under the scheme to employ non-local technical personnel more flexibly and relaxing the limitation of the number of subsidized research talents that can be employed. Third, to promote R&D and transformation results, to promote the R&D in microelectronics, we're going to set up the Hong Kong Microelectronics Research and Development Institute and commission the microelectronic centers, and we will provide advanced dedicated infrastructure and hardware support. And we are going to establish the third Inno-Hong Kong Research Cluster, focusing on advanced manufacturing materials, energy, and sustainable development. On support for transformation of R&D outcomes from startups, we are going to announce the results of the first batch of applications under the Raise Plus scheme in the first quarter of next year. We're going to double the maximum funding provided for Technology Transfer Office of each specified university to $16 million, and will accept more renowned mainland and overseas startup services entities to set up their business in Hong Kong. For foster AI development, in order to expedite the development of an AI supercomputer center, because computing power is crucial to development of AI technology and application. We will set up an AI supercomputer center in phases. Fifth, to promote free cross-boundary data flow. We're now liaising with the Guangdong province to adopt the early and pilot implementation approach in the GBA to streamline the compliance arrangement for the flow of personal data from the mainland to Hong Kong to foster secure cross-boundary flow of mainland data within the GBA. Sixth, to foster the synergistic development of the Hong Kong Park and Shenzhen Park of Hotel. We give full support to this area and will press ahead with the synergistic development of the Hotel Park in Hong Kong and in Shenzhen. We will launch a number of initiatives to make Hotel the bridgehead and pilot zone for INT collaboration between the mainland and Hong Kong. We will also align the spatial planning of Shenzhen Technopole with the development positioning of Hotel Shenzhen Hong Kong Science and Technology Innovation Cooperation Zone and integrate with the strategy on enhancing Hong Kong's INT competitiveness. We will plan to achieve better synergy. Seventh, to provide new land for INT use. The 2-hectare of farm site at Sandy Ridge, North District, will be rezoned for INT-related users so that we have INT services in the north and financial services in the south. Promoting high-quality INT development is most important to Hong Kong. We will spend our efforts in taking forward these initiatives for the development of Hong Kong into an international INT center.
Please identify yourself. Please name your organization that you represent. The lady in the suit in the third row. Good afternoon. I'm from TVB. It is said that at St. Ridge there will be a data center. What are the support measures and when will it be commissioned? And for the time being, what sort of startups that you're going to have in mind? And what are the criteria to be adopted for selection? And then for new industrialization, what sort of new industries are you thinking about? And do you have any negotiations or discussion ongoing? When are you going to set up the office on new industrialization development? What is the work for the first phase? And please tell us more about that. Well, as far as the St. Ridge is concerned, I would like to defer to Mr. Eddie Mack, the Permanent Secretary. Thank you, Secretary. Thank you, friends of the media. Well, as you have noticed that in the policy address, the administration has said that there will be reconsideration of the zoning of the 2 hectares of land in Sandy Ridge. And in fact, it will be rezoned into innovation technology uses. Well, in fact, the site has been formed, and we have also got basic support works that have already been completed, like a road network. Initially speaking, as far as we are concerned, we have considered the location of the sites, the infrastructure, the availability of the sites, as well as the transport and traffic support measures. One possibility is to develop a data center there or related uses. Of course, we have to carry out a more detailed study to finalize on the ultimate use. But in any event, we need to carry out a rezoning exercise. So it will be rezoned into INT use. It will take about a year's time to complete the process. we have to complete the statutory process first, and then the site will be available for innovation technology use. Well, regarding the New Industrialization Development Office, well, in this year's policy address, as far as innovation and technology is concerned, this office will be a major institutional change. As you know that we set up 2 offices under the Bureau, first being the Digital Policy Office. The other is this New Industrialization Development Office. This office will be led by the newly created post of Commissioner for Industry. So it will be industry-oriented. In this way, we can accelerate the new industrialization of Hong Kong. There are 3 major functions. First of all, the office has to render support to the strategic industries to develop rapidly in Hong Kong. Second, we have to help the local industries to make use of technical changes to transform and upgrade themselves. And thirdly, we have to render assistance to move to new industrialization. Well, as far as the setting up of this office, it shows that for this term of the government, we would like to emphasize and promote the development of new industries so that we can put together the resources and be more focused in our policies so that we can very quickly achieve certain breakthroughs. As to your other question as to which strategic industries will be involved, I would like to defer to the Undersecretary, Ms. Zheng, to give an answer. Thank you, Secretary. Thank you for this question. As to which sectors will be involved, there are 3 major ones. First of all, advanced manufacturing and new energy. Say, for example, semiconductors and also new energy vehicles, new materials. The second sector being life health sciences and related uses, covering, say, for example, pharmaceutical products as well as medical devices and equipment. And thirdly, it will be AI and data sciences and related sectors, where in fact it involves upstream and downstream facilities as well as enterprises involved in chip making. As the Secretary has pointed out, when it comes to new industrialization, like promoting advanced manufacturing, well, this is exactly what we want to do, and it is an important step in achieving high-quality development. So advanced manufacturing will be given priority by us. We have looked around the world. For advanced manufacturing in the new era, we can't just rely on the market to achieve this as a result of competition. Other governments have also taken the initiative to input a lot of resources to promote that. In future, we want to develop our industries via innovation technology. We have to give a boost to our downstream sectors. So, in fact, we are introducing the $10 billion new industrialization acceleration scheme. On the right-hand side, in the 3rd row, the lady in a light suit. I'm from Phoenix TV. Well, in relation to the Shenzhen Park, there are 5 major initiatives that are meeting the urgent needs of the industries. Can you elaborate on the flow of data? Moreover, in relation to the frontier technological research, you also talk about life sciences, but can you elaborate on that? Will there be more collaboration between Shenzhen and Hong Kong? And then for the Digital Policy Office, what is its plan for the digitalization of government? I know that in a year's time there will be full rolling out of electronic payments for all government services. Can you elaborate on that? And what about the benefits to the GBA residents? Your two questions cover a huge scope. For the first question, as well as the second question, for the second question, I would defer to my colleagues. I will tackle the first question. First of all, regarding 河套, the loop, that is, what about the arrangements for cross-boundary funding? And whether there are concrete plans for the Digital Policy Office. Well, in fact, we are really concerned about the cooperation and collaboration between the two places as far as the zone is concerned. We have one zone but two parks, and it is important for the two to be connected. So we would like to see that funds, information, goods, and talents can flow between the two places easily. According to CIPA, in Hong Kong, a lot of our services, a lot of our products can go to the mainland market freely. But then still there are certain areas, say for example, in relation to genomic healthcare, etc., it is on a negative list, and we cannot allow it to be freely put into use on the mainland. So we are still awaiting some breakthroughs. Now, on the mainland, we have got funds. For them to come to Hong Kong, they are subject to certain restrictions. We hope that at least within the loop, mainland funds can be available to Hong Kong and can be involved in the development of innovation and technology of Hong Kong. So I merely cited two examples in relation to that part of your question. What about the other question? Frontier technological research. I will defer to my colleague in relation to digital office. You asked what's meant by frontier technologies. This is a broad issue. Well, for the loop, as a result of collaboration between Shenzhen and Hong Kong, we hope that we can make breakthroughs in relation to medical and health sectors. Say, for example, precision health services. We hope we can make use of stem cells to make achievements in clinical treatment areas. And we hope that in future we can have a clinical research laboratory. And of course, it means that it will involve a lot of frontier medical technologies. And then for AI, I think you know that. Well, in fact, AI-related technologies are the current frontier technologies. If we can make use of this opportunity to achieve some outcomes, it will be good. And it can be applied in many areas. And then for Hong Kong, the Greater Bay Area, as well as the rest of mainland, will be well connected. And then for the development of chips, as we have said, we need to develop third-generation semiconductors. Well, I think you know that we have to try hard to make breakthroughs in this area in terms of research as well as translational efforts of the research outcomes. So it means what we have got in mind in relation to the frontier technologies. And then for electronic payments and the Digital Policy Office, I defer to my colleagues.
In terms of digital government services, now we are progressing well in terms of e-governments. We have over 1,400 licensing and service items involving applications. 78% of them are on licensing, or many of them are already electronic, digitalized. We have the target of digitalizing all of them. Is expected within 2024, or by 2024 we can achieve a full digitalization for all government services. As for electronic payments, within a year we will move towards the target of accepting electronic payments for all government services by means of FPS. Service fees can be paid online and offline, and then we've also there is also an option of using electronic wallets from the mainland for leisure and cultural services, medical services, and also immigration services. Going back to the question of cross-boundary data flow, with the support of the country, the ITIB in June this year signed a memorandum of understanding with the Cybersecurity Ministry of the country for cross-boundary flow of data within GBA. Hopefully, we can promote the development of digital economy within the GBA. We are now discussing with the relevant authorities in the mainland, with the country, and also Guangdong. We are working out the details. Hopefully, within this year, we can launch an early and pilot implementation scheme so that for services commonly used by the industries and communities, such as data involving financial services and healthcare services, including healthcare records. Hopefully, within the GBA, we can comply with the country's regulations on movement of data. Hopefully, we can facilitate the movement of data within the GBA. We will have early and pilot implementation within this year. The CE announced that a new digital policy office will be set up. We want to consolidate the OGL and also the efficiency unit, putting together the expertise, talents, and experience to more effectively press ahead with digitalization and transformation of government digital services by means of digital services and technology. We want to facilitate businesses. Cross-department sharing of data and technology will provide more convenience to the public. Just to quote an example, for instance, we are working with the Hong Kong Police Force on a system to promote the efficiency of emergency services covering the Hong Kong Police, the FSD, the Government Flying Services, and Civil Aid Services. By means of technology, the system can enhance the monitoring of the positioning and also the whereabouts of our rescue officers that will ensure their safety, enhance the efficiency and effectiveness of rescue operations, and also enhance collaboration among departments in search and rescue operations. And other example is data analysis. For instance, the EMSD, the Buildings Department, and EMSD are working on over 100 pilot points of public toilets. They are analyzing the data involving the use of public toilets and facilities therein, and also the use of consumables therein. The analysis will assist the department to know facilities that can be repaired and maintained before they break down, that can prolong the lifespan of these facilities. There can also be better management of these facilities for the benefit of the community. These are examples of how we can use technology to promote a service transformation of the government. The gentleman in black in the third row.
From the South China Morning Post. The first question is directed towards the ITIB, and we wanted to ask a little bit more whether the Bureau can provide more information and details about the government's plans to adopt a cross-boundary flow of mainland data to Hong Kong, as mentioned in the policy address. For example, the time frame and perhaps the scale of the data involved, and also would there eventually be perhaps a system where the flow of Hong Kong data will be able to go to the mainland and vice versa. And the second question would be about the government's plans to introduce a bill to LegCo on the cybersecurity of critical infrastructures. Would the government be able to provide some more details on the legislation, such as the coverage and also perhaps penalty? And also, we want to ask how will the ITIB also work with the Security Bureau on this legislation, and what would their role be in this case? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the two questions. First question about cross-border data flow. Now I invite the audio director, Mr. Tony Wang, to answer this question.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. For the cross-boundary data flow, we are actively discussing with the Guangdong Cyber Administration Office in terms of the details of facilitating cross-boundary data flow within the Greater Bay areas, in particular for those high-frequency applications of data, like those involving health data for individuals' health records, and also business data like commercial data like those financial data, like banking data, the customers' data. These are very frequently used by business and also individual citizens. So that is the priorities area. We are working closely with the Guangdong Province Cybersecurity Office to discuss a facilitation measure to facilitate these data from Guangdong Province cities to cross-boundary transfer to Hong Kong in order to facilitate or support these business operations and also individual citizens using of these services. So this is the current focus area we are discussing with Guangdong, and our target is to develop these facilitation measure as a priority and also pilot implementation arrangement. Hopefully, we can implement this pilot arrangement within these years.
So regarding your second question, I'd like to give a brief answer. The government is deeply concerned about the recent cybersecurity incidents. The incidents highlight the fact that cybersecurity threats are commonplace and that all sectors of society must put in place precautionary measures and enhance the security of information system and data. Okay. So to enhance the protection of cybersecurity of critical infrastructure, the government plans to define clearly through legislation the cybersecurity obligations of the operators of this critical infrastructure. So this includes the establishment of a good preventive management system to ensure the secure operation of the information system and networks. The government is working on the draft legislative framework and soliciting initial views from the industry. The government will introduce a bill into the Legislative Council in 2024.
The next question. On the left-hand side, second row in the front, the gentleman in the checkered shirt. I'm from Wenhui Bao. A question about the $10 billion new industrialization acceleration scheme. It will focus on three major areas. So what about manufacturing facilities? Can you share with us examples you've got in mind? And then to me, I think it needs space, it needs land. So are you going to think about the area available in the loop area? Yes, I would like to defer to my colleague. Well, for the new industrialization acceleration scheme, we hope that we can attract enterprises to invest heavily in Hong Kong in relation to advanced manufacturing and construct large-scale facilities, not just smart production lines, but also factories, production plants. We know that for advanced manufacturing in Hong Kong in the past few years, we made a start, but we need to enhance the foundations. We have been trying hard to attract enterprises and investments, and we are encouraged by the results. We have the production of satellites, new energy vehicles, etc. And then under the acceleration scheme, we hope that there will be more financial resources to render support to such initiatives. They may need large plants, or they may need financial assistance in other ways so that they can take root in Hong Kong. And then as far as land requirements and space requirements are concerned, whether it is in relation to new industrialization or attracting investments and enterprises, such are essential elements, and we go all out. The different bureau as well as our bureau have been joining hands to make land available for the short, medium, and long terms. For the Hetao area as well as the Shantin Technopole, they will be the areas we are looking at, and in this year's policy address, we have also included the Sandy Ridge. For the $10 billion new industrialization acceleration scheme, it will be taken up by the ITIB as well as the newly set up New Industrialization Development Office. I would like to invite Mr. Ivan Lee from the CIT to elaborate on the New Industrialization Acceleration Scheme. He can talk about the criteria, etc. Thank you. Thank you, Secretary. As the Secretary and the Undersecretary have said, in this year's policy address, we say that we'd like to introduce the New Industrialization Acceleration Scheme. We want to attract advanced manufacturing, and we are looking at enterprises in 3 specified sectors. We hope that there will be huge investments. Under our scheme, if a manufacturer would like to invest $200 billion, then it will be in the form of a matching scheme, and it will be 1 to 2 between the government and the company's funds, and there will be a subsidy available. We believe that for the $10 billion scheme, we can support 50 to 100 enterprises to set up advanced manufacturing production lines in Hong Kong, and we hope that they can invest $10 to $20 billion in Hong Kong. Yes, the lady in the second row. Yes, I want to pick up the question on the acceleration scheme as well. $10 billion. Well, you're talking about attracting 50 to 100 enterprises. Will the figure of $10 billion be adequate? Will there be more funds available? And then another question is about the cross-boundary public services. What is the progress, and when can citizens benefit from that? Which media are you from? Hong Kong Economic Journal. Let me take up the questions first. That is as to why we will start with $10 billion and why we have 50 to 100 enterprises in mind. In the past year, we have been attracting enterprises. Many of them ask us as to whether Hong Kong can follow the example of neighboring cities, that is, provide funding assistance. Now, $10 billion will be a direct subsidy, and it is unprecedented, and it shows that the Hong Kong SAR government would like to achieve outcomes. For a single enterprise, the most we can provide would be $200 million. It will be between $100 and $200 million. That's why we say that we can support between 50 and 100 enterprises. If there are really that many enterprises, bringing the funds to Hong Kong to invest here, then undoubtedly it will be a piece of good news to Hong Kong. We are paying close attention to the progress and direction of this scheme. If it is really proved to be very popular, and there will be a big boost to the development of Hong Kong's economy, then it will have a positive impact on our employment. As to whether there will be more funds available, I'm sure the government will adopt an open mind. And then Mr. Wong will take the question about the cross-boundary public services. Thank you, Secretary. Last year, we were invited by the Guangdong province. And in fact, Guangdong province is advocating a national policy in relation to public services across the board, so that irrespective of where you are, a citizen can enjoy and make use and use public services across provinces. We are now liaising closely with the Guangdong government so that within Guangdong province and within Hong Kong, citizens can use public services from Guangdong or from Hong Kong. It is expected that come next month, there will be a joint briefing session to let you know about the first phase of our initiative. There will be 50 initiatives of 50 items of services on either side to benefit Guangdong or Hong Kong residents, so that they can use the services without going back to their homeland in person. And then they cover different categories, like application for permits and licenses, tax returns, setting up a business, etc. All such can be carried out online across the boundaries. Both sides are doing their best and try to do the following before end of this year or early next year. That is, we can provide self-help kiosks in each other's area. Early next year, we have said that we'll be setting up a Hong Kong self-help kiosk in Guangzhou, so that they will be available in a service hall, so the Hong Kong citizens don't have to come back to Hong Kong, but they can go to that hall to use the self-help kiosks. And Guangdong is also making preparations for a similar arrangement, so that at specified places such kiosks will be made available. I can cite an example. Say, for example, Hong Kong citizens can rely on I'm Smart to use over 300 items of public services or services from corporations. And in fact, for the service hall of Guangzhou and in Qianhai, we'll be setting up the self-help kiosks. And soon, for other cities in Guangdong province, we are having negotiations as to where we can set up counters or self-help kiosks, so that Hong Kong residents in Guangdong can apply for I'm Smart accounts, and then they can use Hong Kong services online without coming back in person.
Next, the gentleman in white on the left. Good afternoon, I'm from Cable TV. With regard to promoting development of digital government, recently many public organizations, including Cyberport, the Consumer Council, and Hong Kong Post, have been hacked. Their systems have been hacked. Do you have any measure to lay the concerns of the public? And for Sino Technopole, is there the possibility that land can be directly granted? What are the procedures for land grant? And is the Bureau or is the company identifying suitable companies? Now, the government, of course, attaches great importance to cyber attacks that took place in recently. I think that was an alarm, a wake-up call for all of us. We are now wary of cybersecurity and risks because the attacks are more sophisticated, and so we must have proper preventive measures. First, we must have this awareness of cybersecurity. All government departments, public bodies, and private companies are reminded to be careful of digital and cybersecurity. Since the cyber attack incidents, all government departments and organizations have been urged to enhance their cyber security measures, and they are also given technological support. And we've also reminded all organizations and departments to step up cybersecurity measures. In this year's policy address, it is mentioned that next year, there will be a piece of legislation on protection of critical infrastructure. On cybersecurity, we're now working with the Security Bureau for critical infrastructure and data centers. The operators have their share of responsibility as well. I'll now give the chair to my colleague to take the second question. Now, on the grants of land at Santin Technopole, the Secretary for Development once answered a similar question. Now, for the grants of land, whether it be for commercial, industrial, or residential use, usually the site is disposed of by means of tendering. The highest bid will get the site. But for special industries, a non-conventional mode of land grants can be granted. That is, instead of open tendering, perhaps there can be restrictive tendering or a direct grant. We are considering different alternatives. Earlier on, the Development Bureau announced a planning report for the land use in Santin Techno Park, and the Bureau and relevant departments have commissioned a consultancy study, including the type of land suitable for certain types of INT industries, and whether which site is suitable for upstream, midstream, and downstream industries, and also the supporting infrastructure required. The consultancy will also consider how it can attract investment and capital, and also the funding mode that will include different forms of land grant. We are discussing with the Development Bureau, and we will explore all feasible options. From our Bureau's point of view, regardless of the way the land is granted, the most important thing is the site is being used in an intended INT purpose. We cannot depart from this objective. Last two questions. The gentleman in pink. I am IT Pro, Benny. I've got two questions to be asked on behalf of the IT sector. Now, they are very concerned about the shortage of talents in Hong Kong. And it takes time for importation of labor. It is easier for deployment of manpower within the corporation. Some of them have business operations in different parts of the world. Can they deploy their manpower internally from other places to Hong Kong? And secondly, it seems that our network infrastructure is lacking. we only have that of Singapore in terms of this capacity, that is the cable, the submarine cable from Hainan. Now, since the establishment of this term of government last year, we have been trawling for talents. All industries have strong demand for talents. This year's policy address has measures for trawling for talents. As for the INT sector, this year, we have this new industrialization acceleration scheme. We have set aside $10 billion to support companies, and there are two conditions under the scheme. First, we have greatly enhanced the support for the subsidies for INT talents. We have increased that to a double-digit figure. And for strategic enterprises, if they want to set up their production lines in Hong Kong quickly, it would be a bit too long for them to nurture local talents, so they can import specialists or talents into Hong Kong, and we have relaxed the requirement under this. We will also enhance the training and nurturing of our own talents. So for INT enterprises, our strategy is to introduce as many strategic enterprises as possible. We'll give them a few KPIs, one of which is to ask how many local technical personnel they are going to employ. And we ask them the amount of investment they're going to make, and also the number of local technology talents they're going to employ. So we have factored in this consideration. And as for the Hetao Park, when we invite strategic enterprises, we will also consider the number of jobs they can create for our local population. So we have a package of measures, and we give prime consideration to talents in our schemes. You also asked a very good question on the supercomputing center. We promote digital government and also development of a smart city. For instance, we are going to set up an AI supercomputing center. It takes time. We need technology. We need talents. The OGO recently did a consultancy study on INT startups in Hong Kong. In recent years, we have a great demand for computing power. By 2030, we will achieve 15,000 P, which is a unit for computing power. To address this need, we're going to set up a supercomputing center. Hopefully, within 2 to 3 years, we'll be able to provide 5,000 P of computing power. And what about the balance? In a few years' time, hopefully, we can have the second computing center in the northern metropolis. Hopefully, we can have another 10,000 P, so that by 2030, we can have a capacity of 15,000 P. Next, last question. The lady in white.
I'm from Radio Hong Kong. First of all, a question about the commissioner for digital policy. I want to know whether the commissioner will be taken up by the government information audio. And then I want to know, when you talk about data security, would you also bear in mind national security? And I want to know about the relationship between the two. Well, first of all, let me defer to the Permanent Secretary, Mr. Mack, to answer the first question. Well, regarding the Digital Policy Office, as stated in the policy address, the objective is to have the two existing offices, namely Office of the Government Chief Information Officer and the Efficiency Office, combined together so that we can make use of the expertise therein and resources therein to drive the development of digital government. For such a merger, it isn't just a matter of merging the two offices. In fact, we'd like to have some restructuring as well so that we can rely on data to drive the development of digital government. Therefore, in the new office, we are going to have a new division taking care of data governance, looking at collection of data, sharing of data, flow of data, application of data, as well as data security. So it is hoped that that division or that unit can come up with specific recommendations to see whether existing policies or measures have to be improved. So to provide a brief answer to your question, the Digital Policy Office will have the focus shifted. That is, it is a matter of process re-engineering. We'll be streamlining the procedures. In addition, we'll be escalating to the level of data governance as well as data security. As to your second question, that was about cross-boundary data flow. Yes. In relation to data security and data flow, as stated in the policy address, we have already taken up the matter with the Guangdong government, as well as the relevant state commissions and departments, as to how data from the mainland can, in an orderly and compliant format, made available. And then we would like to come up with simplified procedures so that enterprises can lower their compliance costs and increase the efficiency. So it isn't a matter of departing from our existing requirements. After the data have come to Hong Kong, there is still a need to meet our local requirements, like the laws and regulations under the Commissioner on Privacy Personal Data. And throughout the process, we have been maintaining a close dialogue with the Commissioner so as to make sure that in future, all the arrangements will meet our requirements concerning protection of personal data and privacy. If I may add to the answer. Before end of this year, we'll be promulgating the administrative guidelines to facilitate data flow and ensure data security. As you know, that the current term government is dedicated to the development of digital government and would like to develop AI as well. And for AI to be developed, data will be paramount. And therefore, we are setting up the Digital Policy Office, and that will be the driving force of our development of a digital government, a smart city, and will be coordinating the government departments so as to make sure that they will be providing more digital services. So in fact, everything will center around data. All the time, the community is concerned, and in fact, our national government has also come up with the policies. In future, we want to develop our digital economy, but at the same time, we have to step up our regulatory work. A lot of policies have been launched. Say, for example, the Office of the Commissioner of Privacy Personal Data have come up with new guidelines. And in fact, OGIO has also come up with guidelines concerning development of AI. I think the SAR government should adopt a comprehensive view, and we should move with the times. Therefore, at least we are coming up with the administrative guidelines. As to whether that will be followed by legislation, I think we have to take the steps one by one. Well, AI is developing rapidly. We have to move with the times, and we have to strike a balance between AI as well as data protection. So before the end of the year, we'll be promulgating the administrative guidelines. On the one hand, we want to have rapid development. On the other hand, we'll make sure that we reduce and remove the harms. We can't just because of the risk, then we avoid having the development in that area. That's the position of the government. That's the end of today's press conference. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.